What is going on, lovely people? My name is Jabari McClin, realtor, investor, and author of Keys to Legacy. You can pre order at the top. But what I wanted to talk about is how you take charge of your legacy. So I've had the pleasure just to be able to help many people out when it comes to purchasing a home. And the biggest thing, hold on, I want to make sure my microphone is working. Biggest thing for me, I want to start doing is like start breaking down the process for people. Because oftentimes I get so many people who's confused, and I'm just give away what I generally do in my con- consultations with people. And I think my whole goal is number one, like if you really want to take charge, I think pre-order a book or just book a time with us. Reach out with me through DM so that you can say, hey, I'm wanting to help. And so I'm gonna go live here and just continue to find the time that I think work for most people, but starting tonight and just kind of talk about the home buying process. And I'll take a super deep dive, really talk about the philosophy about ownership, legacy, the keys to legacy, and in the book, so you can be able to pre-order that. But I'm gonna share my screen so that I can just jump in real quick, and you can be able to share this with at least one person if they're considering, hey, I want to be able to buy something. Um, this is the first step that they need to make sure they're taking. Okay. Oh, let's see. Not now. Make sure we get you guys. All right. So this is one thing that I always show everyone when it comes to buying a home, because what I say all the time is this, and most of the time when people are wanting to buy a home, they look at so many videos. They've seen people say this about buying a home, even when it comes to investing. And so many people get confused. So many people are like, okay, what does this mean for me? Like I just got off one consultation with a lady, and it was just they've been through an experience before, and oftentimes you take your experience or family experience or just several different mixed messages, and you're like, well, what does this have to do with me? And the main thing is I want to like eliminate distraction for you guys. And that's why I want to start being very particular with the information that I share with you on these lives. And hopefully you can be able to make it and be able to join me live as well. But the main thing that I realize is that when people want to buy, people want to take advantage of, you know, adding real estate, taking ownership, because that's really the super big flex of what I think about in 2026 is you got to understand the process. Like confusion often leads to no course of action. Like if you're confused about something, you won't do something. Like, and that is a fact. And most of the time, if you're confused on what we always say, y'all want to build generational wealth, you can't do that if you don't own something. Like that is a fact. And to get the distractions out your head. So I'm just gonna go over this, not gonna take too much time, and highlight this process. So make sure I'm showing my screen. Mm-mm. Sorry about that, y'all. Here we go. All right. So this process, the pre-approval process is not the same. Like you see things on Zillow, Realtor.com, and you see all the time they say, hey, if you want your payments to be this, and you'll go over there and you'll scroll like, well, I got this much money down. This is what I'm expecting to get, or this is what I have. And it says, well, this is what your payment should be. And, or you are used to renting, and because you're used to renting, what do you do when you rent? You go Look at the price that you like. You already know what the rent's. You already know what the rent's gonna be, so it's super easy for you. And all while that's probably good, what happens next? Well, you didn't fill out application. The pre-approval stage is not the same. Like you have to be willing to go in and do the pre-approval on the front end because what I find out with most people, and a lot of the horror stories come into place, is when they get over here in the underwriting, when they get in the application process, because lenders and the people that goes through this process, what happened? They don't take the time out to do the good due diligence on the front end. And sometimes they have a pre-call and then they want to check all that stuff on the back end. And I think that's wrong. I think for you, you need to make sure, like at the very beginning of the process, like the pre-approval, like they get your income, they get your W-2s, they got everything, they verify the job, like do all that on the front end. Why? Because then what happens on the back end is this: you can make sure that the process of purchasing is good. Same for my investors. Like if you ever want to invest, guess what? It's like make sure you have all your ducks in a row. Don't go out, try to look at a property, make sure you like it. No, because it actually shows your level of commitment. If you're willing to commit to something and say, hey, let me get my money right, making sure my finances is right, because before I go into this, I want to make sure I got everything lined out. That is like being better in due diligence. So that's why in this process you see pre-approval is first. Because guess what? We're not going to go look at 1,000 houses and realize, oh, we can't look at. We're going to look at one of the 999. So it's an exaggeration because you waste your time, but also you waste the team time that spend energy and effort. And here's the reality: when it comes to you purchasing a home, you have to realize this, that your ability to be committed to something and say you're going to do something is it's important, but it's also important for the person who's actually deciding that they're going to help you. Um, and so my job is simple: is to get you in front of your home quickly. So I just wanted to jump on live and do this. I'm gonna start doing this a little bit more so that this can be a simple way. You can always, if you're located in the Bryan-College Station area, you can be able to follow us on YouTube, Living and Investing in Bryan-College Station. Also, I'm launching my first book of mini series, and this one here is just about ownership, the keys to legacy. Pre-order is in the description below. But take advantage and take the time to go through the courses, go through the steps that you need to go through. Shout out to Reach. They do a very good job on educating here people locally. And if you find organizations that's going to pour into you, that's going to assist you, then go through the process. Like commit to them. But also remember this: you have to be willing to do what is needed to get yourself in position to take ownership. Because if you don't, and if you wait, or if you make excuses, like I say, your legacy begins when your excuses end. So do the hard work, start now, and I promise you, you're going to appreciate it.